Today I'm talking about 3 places in Southeast Asia I do not recommend you to move to. This is going to be based on my own experience, so I expect you to disagree with me in the comments. So without further ado, let's get to it. So the first one in the list, and I think this is going to trigger a lot of people because many influencers or many YouTubers, many travelers, many expats, they're talking about this country. The first one is in the list is Cambodia. Cambodia is often talked about like an easy alternative, and honestly, I kind of understand, but I don't understand in the same time. I don't understand why so many expats talk so highly about it. To be really sincere, to me it sounds like some expats or some travelers, they have this bitter relationship with Thailand lately because Thailand now is cracking down on visa runs. Some foreigners maybe they feel betrayed by the last policies they are doing in the country. So now, okay, let's talk about Cambodia because it's the best place in the world. Everybody is much better than Thailand, much better than anywhere else, even than Vietnam. And yeah, in Cambodia, you can just walk in, open a business, or maybe pay your $300 and get a 1-year visa. But compared to Thailand and Vietnam is much more easy, of course. But that's exactly the problem, especially if you're thinking long term. Easy, it doesn't mean that it's good for living. To me especially, and for many people I met, living in Cambodia sounds like purgatory. The country is very poor, the population is really small, it looks like all empty everywhere. Yes, it's beautiful, it has a beautiful nature, it has an interesting history, and have some ruins and all this, but I don't know. I don't think this is enough reason to move to a place like Cambodia. In Phnom Penh, it's very common to have petty theft, like pickpockets and phone snatching. When I came from Vietnam, I came from Ho Chi Minh and I just arrived, I was kind of like alert because I heard many stories about it. And when I arrived in my hostel, the first thing people said like, oh my god, I was walking in the street and then someone snatched my phone. There was one guy, he went to a massage place and they stole $800 from him. But I mean, who puts $800 in the wallet? This is the first thing that I can, let alone the cases of human trafficking and also the corruption in the country. So I didn't move from South America to be living in a place that I have to look to the sides all the time. Many people are moving there and they are having allegedly nice lives and so on. And I have to admit that Cambodia is a fantastic place. It has a very beautiful nature. Angkor Wat is amazing because I'm a history guy. I like to, like historical things. Sometimes I even go to cities that have nothing to do. I mean, they are not touristic at all. But just because I have something about the history of that place, I like to visit it. And Angkor Wat is perfect. The Khmer people, or Khmer, yes, the Khmer people as they say themselves, they call themselves Khmer. They are very smiley, they're very friendly. The English is good, so it's very easy to get by communication-wise. But that's pretty much about it. It's very difficult to find ATMs, and when there is an ATM, they don't work very well. The roads are really bad, not like Laos bad, but they're really bad. It's a poor country, it's a developing country. Let's talk about this country here that I do not recommend you to move. I don't think it's actually many people think about this place in Southeast Asia, but no, I'm going to move to this place, yes? So this place is Laos. I don't think it's in the radar of expats or retirees or digital nomads. But I know that many Russians, Ukrainians, and Belarusians, because they have good agreements, as they have agreements with Laos, they can stay there maybe 1 month without a visa, if not mistaken. And I met many Russians, they are just basically living in Laos, and they're doing visa runs to Vietnam because they also don't need visa to go there, and they go back to Laos. But this is I know that staying in Vietnam is a kind of a similar situation, but Vietnam at least gives you 90 days. And also, Vietnam is much more reliable, is a much better developed country than Laos. In Laos, there is no specific regulations about anything. You can stay, for Westerners, mostly have to pay the visa on arrival, or the e-visa, I think is around $40 or $45 in the border. In the embassy, if you are coming from Hanoi, it's $40 as well. Laos is one of the poorest, if not the poorest country in the region. I think only Myanmar, but Myanmar is in a civil war, So it's kind of understandable why Myanmar is the poorest country in the region. Laos faces serious economic challenges. Their internet is not reliable. They have power cuts and is extremely limited in good international healthcare. And it's surprisingly, Laos can be more expensive than Thailand. Yes, if you complain about that Thailand is expensive, Laos is much more expensive, especially if you compare about the value that you're getting. It's very limited in goods, in services, especially because the country is poor. There is very basic, if lacking infrastructure. And since there are very limited infrastructure, there are not so many roads, it makes it makes products become very expensive. But why there are so few roads in Laos? Because Laos is a mountainous country. It's a country full of mountains, so it's very difficult to build the infrastructure in the landscape. Yes, there are many beautiful places in Laos. It can be very exotic, and even some people say like it was like Thailand some 30 or 40 years ago, but to me it's like very boring, because it can be pretty exciting in the beginning, like, wow, look at all this nature, like the mountains, so beautiful, crystal clear lakes and rivers. But after this honeymoon, when you decide to start living your life, what else can I do here? Even in places that I was recommended, for example, like Van Vien, to me, it was so upsetting and such a letdown, because it basically was a place of young backpackers to get high and stoned, and then they get drunk, and you can stay maybe 1 or 2 days and then you go somewhere else. I mean, there is nothing to see there. It's like a village that for some reason, some like backpackers decided to go there to party, have fun, and then move somewhere else, like Luang Prabang and somewhere else. So even in these places like they are hyped in Laos or something, it can be really, really boring and really frustrating. About visa-wise, it's really confusing because Laos doesn't have any retirement visa. Laos doesn't have any proper, even 90 days e-visa or unlimited visa runs. It's not very clear how you're gonna handle the situation, like about to stay in the country legally. So you're gambling your luck, you're gambling your life, relying on the mercy of immigration officers in the border. Is Laos an awful place? Of course not. It's stunning, peaceful, it's a very unique country. The people are very like authentic, because they are not even used to foreigners. So it's a very nice place to be there. Is it like a digital nomad or retiree or expat place so you can settle down and then live your life? Honestly, I don't think so. I think there are many better options around. Now let's go for the big one. This one is a decadent fella. It used to be hyped, amazing before, in 2010 and so on. But now it's really, really bad. It's Bali. And I know I have been comparing countries. This Bali is not a country. I don't know if you know that, but Bali is not a country. It's one of the 17,000 islands Indonesia offers. But to me, it's an extremely overhyped, oversaturated, and over-touristic place. First time I went there in 2023, I said to myself, yeah, this place is nice. It has some interesting things. But after the third day, I was really like, so is that it? I couldn't believe, but the traffic is horrible in Bali. And there are many places that you can see trash everywhere, especially even in the south of Bali, which is relatively really clean. You can see the locals, especially, they say it's like the foreigners, but the locals also contribute to that, especially the locals. They just throw away the trash, like it's nothing on the beach or in the sand. And it's quite sad to see this landscape like full of plastic bags and bottles and trash in general, when this crystal clear water and sand and cliffs. So I don't know, it was very upsetting to me. It was a very disappointing place to be. And it was the first time in years that I actually felt ripped off when I dealt with the locals, or especially the guys dealing with tourism. You never know how much a meal is gonna cost you. For example, some places you're gonna pay $4, some places you're gonna pay $7, another place you're gonna pay $10 for the same meal, because there are no prices on the menu, especially in tourist areas like Seminyak, and I forgot the other name. It's like in the same area, in the west coast of Bali, in Denpasar. It was the only place that I felt like I was a walking wallet, literally. Because if you go to many places here in Southeast Asia, like Thailand, in Phuket or Pattaya, you have the prices tags, like 60 baht, 80 baht the meals. In Vietnam also the same thing. Or even if it's not priced, I felt the streets when I walk like very bad, very narrow, very claustrophobic. And since it's a very overcrowded place, it feels like overwhelming. I'd like to have some space when I walk, you know, and I couldn't feel this in Bali, to be honest. So I stayed in three places, like the area of Seminyak and the west coast. Then I went to Sanur, which is much more quiet and much more clean as well. You have like a lot of resorts there. It's kind of okay, but also people try to rip you off all the time. And in the south, in Uluwatu, that's where I found, okay, I think that's where people talk about Bali is good. That's the good place about Bali. But still, the beaches there, they have to pay to enter the beach. It's not like much. You don't pay like, I don't know, a lot. Pay maybe $3 to enter in each one of them. But still, you see a lot of trash. It's very far from each other. You have to get motorbikes, or, you know, to get, you know, like to get around. I don't think it is very comfortable. Strange is, I don't know why Bali is so famous about being spiritual. I didn't see anything spiritual there. I see a lot of artificiality. Maybe you have the locals like very far away from Denpasar, because honestly I haven't been far from Denpasar in the other place of the island. And the foreigners there, they just think about validation. They are only there for taking pictures from Instagram or sell courses, meditation courses, or to sell, I don't know, coaching programs, yoga classes, whatever. So it's everyone is trying to get money somehow, you know, using the island, using the place to get some money, so get clout or to get money. And I believe maybe the authentic Bali is under all this artificiality, maybe far away from Pasar, from the capital, or even in Lombok, which is the neighboring island. Okay, look, no country is perfect, all right? Some people will love Bali, others gonna say like, wow, Laos is amazing, I've been living here, and others will say, how dare you talk about Cambodia like this way? But if you're looking for a realistic place, like balance, with good balance, like work-life situation, I would still recommend more stable options like Thailand, Vietnam, or Malaysia to be in. So, what about you? Do you agree with my list? Do you have something to say, or do you think like, wow, you're just full of shit, you know? So let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video. Happy trails!